Over the last couple of months, through my own experience, I've learned different tactics that I can use to gain back the discipline I've lost, whether that was over a vacation or it was because I was in a rut. This is because both going on a vacation or being in the middle of a rut will make you lose progress, as you're indulging in those instant gratification activities and you aren't doing as many good habits as you should be doing. And this loss of progress is probably noticeable to you after you get yourself out of that rut or you come back from vacation. Things just aren't the same. You aren't working as hard, or you're not putting as much hours in as you were beforehand, before that rut or before that vacation. And that feeling is just, it's an awful feeling. And I had to go through that myself and get myself back on track. And that's still going on till this day. But hopefully this video will give you some direction to get back on track and start improving yourself again. I didn't want to make this video too detailed, as I felt like it would be too long, but if you want me to make a more in-depth video in the future, let me know. So the first thing that I want to talk about is starting low. If you just got through a period where you stopped doing all the good habits that were in your day, you're probably going to think that, oh, in order to get back on track, I should start doing all those activities again at the same duration as I was beforehand. So for example, let's say before you went through this period, you were doing 13 minutes of meditation. But then you went through that period like a vacation, you didn't have the time to meditate, or you were just too lazy and you wanted to just indulge in the instant gratifications because you're on vacation. And so when you come back, you might think to yourself, okay, maybe I could just start with the 13 minutes again. But you'll come to realize that it's a lot harder than you think. The reason why it's so much harder than before is because you lost that progress. You're not at a point where you're able to do those 13 minutes like you were beforehand. And now you can probably only do 2 minutes. And that's where you should start. You want to bring it down to a point where it's a lot easier for you to start building that consistency for that small habit. And so you would go from that 13 minutes which is where you were beforehand, to 2 minutes, which is where you are now, because you lost all that progress and you're not at that level yet where you can do those 13 minutes of meditation well and focused. Lowering the starting point or the difficulty of the habit will help you rebuild that habit into your routine and help build consistency with it, which is a lot better than starting with the much higher difficulty, which you can't really handle right now. This can be applied for deep work as well, as instead of doing the 90-minute blocks that you were doing beforehand, you would have to lower the difficulty down to maybe only 30 minutes, and you would only do maybe 2 of those blocks with a break in between. Now that you're starting at a place that is within your ability to do, as the weeks go on and your ability to do it starts to get easier and easier, instead of just staying at a point where you're so much easier for you, you want to start increasing the difficulty bit by bit every single week. So for the meditation, you would go from 2 minutes to 5 minutes as that 2 minutes starts to become easier for you, or it's been like a week. And for the deep work, you increase that 30 minutes to 60 minutes, and you would go from there. And as the weeks go by, you just increase and build up on that difficulty to a point where you're at the point where you were before the rut or before the vacation, and you keep increasing it from there. It's almost like the progressive overload in the gym. You start out at a place where you can comfortably do it, like let's say it's the 15 pounds, and then after a month or maybe after 2 weeks, you're able to do those 15 pounds a lot easier, so you bump it up to 20 pounds. It's something like that. And lastly, now that you started to do those habits that you want to implement in your day, such as exercising, meditating, journaling, deep work, all that kind of stuff, you want to start gaining momentum with it and consistency. And I know already lowering the difficulty to a point that you can do it will help you with that momentum and consistency. But if you want to make it a little bit easier for you, what has helped for me is using a habit tracker, which can be some kind of like Excel spreadsheet with like the tables, or you can do some kind of calendar. But the point is, you're marking off every single time you do that habit each day. And so as you do that every single day, you're kind of building some kind of streak, like this right here. Like this right here. You see it? Yeah. So as you start checking off those boxes, you're going to see a streak forming on your habit tracker. And this is why habit trackers are so useful, is because they make it into a sort of game where you have to keep that streak up or you break it. This will help you stay consistent with the habits that you're trying to implement in your day again, because you want to keep that streak going and you want to see those X's on your on your habit tracker because that signifies a win and you want to stack those wins. And it's especially easy now because you lowered the difficulty. Make sure to keep this habit tracker like on your wall, or more specifically right in front of you, to a point where like maybe it's like on your wall above you, so that you can look at it pretty much every day and it reminds you of that streak and reminds you of all those habits that you want to implement in your day. And these are just a couple of things that I recommend that have helped me gain back the discipline myself and get me out of like ruts that I've been on because of vacation. And hopefully these recommendations helped you as they did for me. And yeah, let me know if there's anything I can improve on, whether that's like the visuals or like the topics that I cover. Let me know in the comments, and I hope you learned something from this video, and thank you so much for watching.